You better be ready for a dogfight's all I'm going to tell you, because they're about to give you one. South Carolina this week's about to give you a dogfight. Listen, man, you better look at what their fan base is saying. Look at what their fan base is saying. Look at what their fan base is doing. If you're not on social media following South Carolina, I'm just going to tell you right now, they are ready for a dogfight. You better be ready for one, too. We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 1001. You know, I was getting ready for the show today, putting down the handy-dandy notes here. You know what I mean? The handy-dandy notes. And every time I do notes, I put the episode number on top of it. That's what she said. And today was a little bit different because everything had been three numbers, you know, for the last 800 episodes, 900 episodes, however many. And nevertheless, really interesting. Episode 101, 1001. Thank you, everybody, for joining us last night. Go watch last night. It was a pretty fun show. I hope that all of you enjoyed it. But we got lots that we got to get to here tonight. We'll do the do's and don'ts. So on Tuesdays, I told you, unless this is your first time watching this during the week on a Tuesday, you're getting ready for the Hurricane Francine, that hoe. And you're just sitting at home, not doing anything, don't want to watch the political debate. Well, Trump and Kamala agreed to push the debate back for an hour so that we could get through our show. Just wanted to let all y'all know that. But on Tuesdays, we do our do's that LSU must do. Here's the things that you must accomplish to win the football game. And then we go through our don'ts. Things that you cannot allow to happen if you want to walk out of Williams-Brice Stadium with a win. Man, I'm telling you, I got that feeling inside my bones, man. Listen, you better be ready to fight for 60 minutes. They're coming to bring it to you. That stadium's going to be rocking. You're going into one of the more underrated hostile environments in the country. I don't give two Rudy Poos that it is at 11 a.m. I could get 12 Eastern. I could give two Rudy Poos. You better be ready for a dogfight, and you better accomplish some of these things, or you're going to come back with a loss. And the adversity that you have to overcome this week is starting to mount. We'll get to that. We'll go around your SEC. Matt McMahon gets a big-time commitment today. We'll talk about that. And we'll go on a little bit over Ruffino's rant. So jam-packed show. Just a little programming note here for you, for all of you who love to watch our shows. We are going to be live. Obviously, we're here live today, but in case you missed it, we're going to be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as well. I know a lot of you are going to be off of work, some of you. Some of you don't have the unfortunate pleasure of going into work tomorrow, but we're going to be live tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to try to get 3 shows in. We're going to try to get 3 shows in this week. I highly doubt that we'll be able to go on Thursday, so we're taping some stuff tonight after this show on Ruffino and Joe as well, in case you want to go over there as well. So we're going to be live at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hopefully we're able to go. But as of the current moment, it would appear that the AYS studio is really in eyesight of Hurricane Francine, that hoe. Why does every hurricane that's got a woman's name always leaves the most devastation? Sandy, Ida, Katrina. It's never like Hurricane Blake. You know what I mean? Like Hurricane Blake never, Hurricane Blake just kind of wants to, mosey on along. Guess it is what it is. Which, by the way, leads me to asking you all of this. What is your favorite hurricane snack? I asked you this a while ago on social media in case you missed it. Put inside the chat right now. Do this for me if you don't mind. What is your favorite hurricane snack? I will tell you mine. Here's what mine is. I love zebra cakes. Now, your boy is unable to, on this diet, to eat any zebra cakes. We don't have any zebra cakes here in the studio, or trail mix, which unfortunately we don't have either. But if we're going through a hurricane, so like for example, during Hurricane Ida, I went to go check on my mom, which by the way, happy birthday to her. I went to go check on my mom after Hurricane Ida had come through, and there just sits the beautiful, moist, creamy, double paws zebra cake sitting on the counter when I went to go check on her. And I got to tell you, it was the most glorious thing that I'd ever eaten in my life. Now, I know what most of you in Louisiana are going to do. You're going to crack open a nice cold Bud Light. What? You're going to crack open a Miller Lite, Coors Light, whatever it is that is your preference. Or some of you, if you're Cajun enough, you're going to get into that Jack Daniels, Jim Beam. I feel you, man. You ain't got nothing else to do. All I'm going to tell you is you're going to probably want to save some of that alcohol for Saturday because 11 a.m. comes a little early. My father-in-law so many years ago gave us this Bailey's. I don't know if y'all know what Bailey's is. It's like chocolate creamy stuff, Pauls. But I would put it in my coffee on 11 a.m. kickoffs. I didn't really like it, though. Didn't really like it. It was all right. It's okay. So anyway, all right. Let's get to a couple of them. Father Abear says the ultimate snack here is the Cheez-It. The ultimate snack cracker is the Cheez-It. Like, I mean, there's no... So here's the thing. I was asked about 300 episodes ago, Blake, if there was one sponsor that you had won on your show, who would it be? It's Cheez-Its. It 100% is Cheez-Its. I mean, Cheez-It, can we work something out here? You know, Cheez-It, what do we got to do to get you on AYS? That's what I want to know. Nevertheless, the entire state of Louisiana is buying Cheez-Its right now for hurricane snacks. Cheez-It is the ultimate snack cracker for hurricanes. There is no debating. There is no other debating than the Cheez-It. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more sweeter, then you go with a zebra cake. Guys, listen, to me, I feel like I have perfected hurricane snacking and zebra cakes, Cheez-Its, water. That is the ultimate hurricane snack. And by the way, for some of you that are grillers out there, just going to tell you your boy went to Lowe's today because I had to get some other appliances for the griddle. But your boy's going to be grilling up some stuff. Here's what I would say before we move on. I hope that this thing just blows right on past us and very minimal damage happens. I don't know if that's going to happen. I will say that, like I said earlier, it would appear that the AYS studios in broad sight of this hoe Francine. So everybody stay safe out there, man. Everybody stay safe out there. George Seal with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Good, sir. He says, I want me a cold blue ribbon, PBR, some Jack Daniels, some Jim Beam, some good tequila. Missed you yesterday on 1001 made it. It made it the most reliable to watch. Thank you so much, George, our good buddy. Thank you so much. But I do agree with him. A good blue ribbon PBR, some Jack Daniels, some Jim Beam, and some good tequila. See, here's the thing, though, George. There's only one thing I disagree with you on that one from my perspective is the tequila. I can't do it, man. I just cannot do the tequila. My shirt stuff's coming off. You know, these man boobies start flopping around. It's not a pretty sight when a Ruffino gets around tequila. And it's not just me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just I'm not the only Ruffino that happens to, you know? It's the burden that we bear with tequila. And it is very unfortunate, highly unfortunate. But it is what it is. Thank you so much, George. I greatly appreciate it, buddy. David is in the 318. Good to have you in here. Tyler Townsend says, let's go from the 318. How are y'all looking up there in the 318? I don't think that this is going to affect you guys at all. I hope it does not. affect you guys at all, for sure. Where is everybody listening from tonight? Where's everybody listening from? Pistachios and Dr. Pepper, says Kevin. The Tabasco Cheez-It, says Core Wayne Townsend. Yeah, the Tabasco Cheez-Its are good. So yeah, the crowded booth, or good man Bryce Coon or Ralph or whoever. I mean, there's three of them, so I don't know who this is. I would assume this might be Bryce Coon, but he said the flavored Cheez-Its is the way to go. Yeah. The Cheez-It is the ultimate snack cracker. Ultimate snack cracker. So yeah. You got to love it. And some of you aren't prepared for this, man. Some of you from out of state, some of you that have never even lived here before, like if you lived in, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. Connor says a PB&J. So my daughter ate a PB&J yesterday. Man, I wanted one so bad. Wanted one so bad. So yeah. The 985 says Cortez Herman, good to have you in here, sir. George is in the 225 holding. Yeah, George, you better hunker down, big guy. You better hunker down. Here she comes. Mikey is in Cashville, the 615. Okay. Kisma says it's a full week of practice before this game, so our Tigers should come out swinging, right? So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that to start. Look, that's what the entire Ruffino's rant is about when we get out of this break. You better be ready for a dogfight, man. I'm telling you. I'm not going to say that this is their Super Bowl. I don't think that this is South Carolina's Super Bowl. But, I don't know if y'all – let me ask y'all this. Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat. This is how I feel about college football games sometimes. Sometimes I just get that feeling inside my bones like I'm Bruno Mars, and I don't like it. I don't like that you're going through a hurricane this week. I don't like that you got game day there. You got Chris Phillips, who was on the show last week, is going to be there. Josh Pate's going to be there. So the intensity level is going up, right? And so are you going to raise your intensity level? We're getting out of the break, I promise you, and then we'll get to do's and don'ts. We'll get to do's and don'ts. Rick Loetti says he's in the 615 Music City via the 504 in the building. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to say this. Listen, there was a little thing that happened yesterday and last night and today about revolving around the LSU media corps. Here's what I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to spend any time on this. Here's what I'm going to say. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. It's insignificant, so you don't need to worry about it. Guys, when I started this business, I probably should have said this last night and didn't. When I started this, there weren't a lot of LSU podcasts. I think there was 2. And when I came up and we were doing breaking news stories, I mean, that's how AYS started. We would break news stories, okay? I've gotten out of that game. I've told you this. I don't want to – look, we'll put stuff in the forum. You ask me in the forum, I will answer the question. But until then, not my job to do that anymore. I will throw you hints. I will talk about stuff that I'm hearing if I feel it relative enough to be on the show. But this whole thing that goes on with our media, put your head down and go to work. Because I promise you, when established media, at the time, there were people that, you all know this, there were incidents with me and Billy. There were incidents that happened with me in the media. I got called a dopey-faced podcast guy by someone that goes on from 3 to 6. And you know what I did? Didn't stop, kept going, put my head down, went to work. And all I'm going to say is I'm finished with all of that. Now, are there going to be some times that things are said, like Brian Kelly going to Michigan, that we got to discuss that sometimes sourcing is not correct? Sure. Differences of opinion can happen. But I'm just going to tell you this. Things that get said about me, after 1,000 episodes, you should know me by now. Some of you like me. Some of you love me. Some of you don't really give two Rudy Poos about me. Some of you hate me. And here's the thing. If you're listening to me say this right now, you're still in here. I'm still getting paid off of it. So every time you click, when we go live and you click into the show, cha-ching. So continue to hate me. You know, we haven't had a video in probably 7 months that's gotten 100% likes on YouTube. So all of you on YouTube right now, do me a favor, hit that like button. It's always been 99%, around 99%, which means somebody goes in there on every single video that we do and clicks the down button. I've had people going into our audio podcast, AYS Sports, Are You Serious Sports on Spotify, Apple, which, by the way, if you go like on Chartable, is the #1 audio podcast when it comes in relations to LSU. I have people leaving us 1-star reviews. I've asked you. I've come to you, the people, because this is the people's podcast. Miss me with all that stuff, man. Come do something about it. Like all this Twitter beef, it's time to come do something about it. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't like the name of this, so this makes me feel very cautious. Dark Lines with a $10 super chat says, so curious about the offensive line. I get situational calls with sack boxes, but on 3rd and 4th and goal at the 1, you think we're going to run or pass. Perkins on the edge on pass downs uses like Von Miller. Here's the thing, and we'll get to the break here. Dark Lines, thank you for the super chat so much. I greatly appreciate that. Here's what I would say personally, okay? I think this is how we're starting off doing don'ts, so I'm just going to leave it here. You're going to have to come out guns blazing. I don't give two Rudy Poos what you have to do on 3rd and 1, 3rd and goal at the 1, score. If you can't get in, you know, what happened on the other 2 downs? That would be my question, Dark Lines. If it's 3rd and goal from the 1, what happened on the other 2 downs on 1st and 2nd down? Did you run the ball for 8 yards, then get stopped at the 1 and it's 3rd and 1? Yeah, you might want to run it. I mean, it's all about situational. Here's the thing that I want to tell everybody about Harold Perkins. We had this conversation last year. Kind of went by the wayside. Harold Perkins, when y'all compare, like I see a lot of you comparing him to Micah Parsons. I see a lot of you comparing him to Von Miller. Von Miller's 250 pounds. Micah Parsons is 245 pounds. Perkins is 225 pounds. Y'all want him to rush the passer off the edge, which he did against USC. But what you fail and continue, not you, Dark Lines, but what some fail and continue to miss, in my humble opinion, is that when he's out there in the running game, he is susceptible to being beat. If you don't want to believe me, I will give you, I know our audio is going in and out. There's nothing I can do about it. Absolutely nothing I can do about it. Only thing I could say is everybody in the studio's got to get off the internet. I don't know what else to do. But go watch Georgia 2022. Go watch Bama 2023. Guys, he can't be out there on certain situations. It's got to be 3rd and long, 3rd and medium. Because if they run the football, right? If they run the football, then he is susceptible to being in trouble. Guys, most tackles are 6'5", 310 at minimum in the SEC. I mean, it's not best suited for his game. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, share to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Do us a favor by rate, reviewing, and subscribing. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friends over at J&J Exterminating, our good buddy, Tyler Alexander, who, congratulations. Great news is in the air. My man's going to have his first baby. Yeah. My man is going to have his first baby. So congratulations to Tyler Alexander. Let's get to a break. We'll be back next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call them today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's get rolling. So here's where I'm going to start out tonight. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. And because I don't know how much we're going to be able to talk about this. And if, God forbid, this is the last episode, even though we're going live at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. For whatever reason, if something happens and I can't go live and this is the last time that you ever hear this beautiful voice, I need to put this out there in the ether. Guys, someone forgot to tell South Carolina that this is not one of the biggest games that they've played in the last 2-3 years. Because the way that they're pushing it, the way that they're promoting it, the energy, game day coming to town, Pate coming to town, guys like Chris Phillips coming to town. It is of high intensity for South Carolina that all of this is going to be going on in Williams-Brice Stadium. Rain, sleet, sunshine, doesn't matter. They are ready for what is going to happen. And I really think that they're ready to get in a dogfight with LSU. They are 100% ready to be in, I don't want to say this, but because their nickname or mascot name is the Gamecocks, they're ready to get in a cockfight. Guys, you better get on that bus when you're on the way to get on the plane. You better get on that plane, and then when you're on your way to the hotel, after you get off that plane, you better be locked, cocked, ready to rock, because if you're not, you're going to get beat. Saturday is one of the biggest games in South Carolina's tenure under Shane Beamer. And I am telling you, man, they are not a team, regardless of what happened against Old Dominion, regardless about what happened last week at Kentucky. Guys, the style of football that they want to play is very Les Miles-ish. They're going to run it at you 40, 45, 50 times, and they're going to want to play really good defense. They're going to want to blitz you, get after you, play man-to-man coverage. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? So when you enter Williams-Brice Stadium on Saturday, and at 11 a.m., that ball gets kicked off. Rain, sleet, hurricane, sunshine, doesn't matter. You better mentally start preparing yourself for a dogfight. Players, fans, etc. Because that place is highly underrated. Regardless of what time it is in the morning, that things are going to be happening. It does not matter. It simply does not matter. They are going to be ready to go. So on those critical third downs that we keep talking about, can you run the ball on 3rd and 1? Can you not have a false start on 3rd and 1? Those are the small things that I'm worried about. Pumping in crowd noise this week means nothing. Here's what I hate. So, we're going to pump in crowd noise this week. That don't mean shit. That means nothing to comparison of what's going to happen at 11 a.m. on Saturday unless something drastic happens. Guys, I don't have a good feel. I don't have a good feel about this game. I don't feel good about it. Which leads me into do's and don'ts. Guys, every Tuesday, I've told you, we go through this list of things I think that you must do, the do's, the honeydews that you must do this week. And then the don'ts, the things that you cannot have happen to you. And if they do happen to you, you're going to lose. We got 8 of them. 4 for the do's, 8 for the don'ts. Let's go in order and let's talk about the don'ts, things that you cannot have happen. Guys, what are we seeing from South Carolina the last 2 weeks? What do we know about them for 100% certainty? Number 1, guys, you got to get off the field on 3rd down. You must get off the field on 3rd. This game, more than any of them that you will play outside of a team other than Georgia, maybe Arkansas. Guys, what South Carolina wants to do is play ball control and time of possession. They want to hold on to the football, run the football, and march the ball down the field, and then periodically have big splash plays that Lenore Sellers, their quarterback, can accomplish. I know Jacoby and Guillory is out. God forbid, and God bless him that he, of his injury and him tearing his Achilles. But you cannot allow them to sustain drives on you. Because if they, in the early part of this game, sustain drives successfully throughout, you are in trouble. You are in trouble if you cannot get off the field on 3rd down. Because what they're going to do on 1st and 2nd down is run the football right back at you. It's what they want to accomplish. It's what they have been accomplishing. And if you're not ready for that, you will be in trouble. That's number 1 on the things you cannot do or the don'ts. Number 2, get out of this bunch run game BS. Stop bunching everybody together and trying to run the football. You don't have the wide receivers outside of Kyron Lacey that can do it enough or effective enough. Like there was a run that we had this past week against Nichols where you motion Aaron Anderson inside and for him to block a defensive end. In what world and mind and logic does that make any sense? It makes 0 sense. So I think that when you run the football, get out of this bunch formation BS. Spread them out. Get guys like Will Campbell in space and let him have room to work. Getting someone on the left ass cheek, of Will Campbell does nothing for him but hurt him in his athleticism. Nothing. When you have highly athletic offensive linemen, you got to let them work in space. If you don't want to take my word for it, you know who also talked about this being a left tackle and needing to work in space in the running game? Go ask, arguably, outside of Will Campbell, the best offensive lineman that LSU's ever had, Andrew Whitworth. Whitworth used to say that, hey, when I don't like having tight ends next to me a lot of times in the running game because I need space to work. I'm 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", however big of a human being he is, massive human being. I need to work in space. Why do you think that is? Why would he say that? It's because it benefited him the best on him being successful. So all this bunching up and putting everybody close into the box, unless you got a speedster and you're trying to get to the outside, which you have not tried yet, which you probably need to, don't do it. Spread them out, run the football. That's number 2. Number 3, on the things that you cannot do. Here's something that I think I've seen teams do the last 2 weeks against South Carolina, and it's hurt them. Dylan Stewart is one of, and arguably one of the best freshmen in the SEC this year. Actually, let's just call him what he is. He is the best so far through 2 weeks, best freshman in the SEC so far this year. You can make the argument that he is arguably the best edge guy from a performance standpoint that we've seen the last 2 weeks. And what I thought that Kentucky had some success with, ironically, was running the ball right at him. You remember, I forget the year, maybe 2014, 2013, maybe. I forget the year, forgive me. But remember when South Carolina came, they were a ranked opponent under Spurrier. They came down to Baton Rouge and, hey, man, how do we block Jajavian Clowney? And remember, Les just said, watch this. And Les ran right at him. You know, one thing that Kentucky did do well, Kentucky did run the football relatively well. And when they had times that they did run the football, they ran it at Dylan Stewart. Guys, get your big tackles on him and run right at him and see what happens. When you're in that filling out process, when you're filling out the game and seeing what's going to work, what isn't going to work, and things that you think that you can accomplish or you might not be able to accomplish, line up and run the ball right at him, because you're going to find out really quickly if you're going to have an advantage on him in the running game or not. Kentucky had some success with it, and they don't have better tackles than you. It's going to be interesting to see. Number 3, don't shy away from running right at the exceptional freshman Dylan Stewart. Number 4, the last don't, the thing that you cannot do. Because I felt like this, and I didn't want to say it after the USC loss because we were all in some pretty big pain here. But I need to say this now. I feel like the last couple of big games that LSU has played, whether that is the week 1 against Florida State or USC, whether it was Tennessee a couple of years ago, what's another one? Georgia, and even to some extent 2022 Texas A&M, because if you win that game, you were a 10-win regular season team, and God forbid you beat Georgia and you win the SEC. No telling what happens there. There's only one game that's been this high profile that's been just like, I don't want to call it prime time because it's at 11 a.m., but when you have game day and you have a lot of big-time media outlets going to Columbia, guys, you have underperformed in these games in the sense of you've let the moment be too big for you. You know, I don't like comparing sports a lot, but when I do, it's mainly about atmosphere and feeling and going into games and doing things. You know, I think of the SEC tournament this past year with LSU baseball, and every time it felt like that they had a big moment in that series, they came up with a clutch hit or good defensive play, or they didn't let the moment when their season was on the line to define who they were. You know, records don't always say who you are. Like, let me give an example. God forbid, which isn't going to happen, but God forbid DJ Lagway this week, and we'll talk about them when we go around our SEC. God forbid DJ Lagway goes off this week against Texas A&M. What if Florida's an 8-4 team with that schedule? What if they're a 7-5 team with that schedule? Their record does not reflect of how good they are when they got teams like Texas and LSU and All those teams that you have there down the stretch. I feel like we have allowed the moment to get too big for us sometimes, and it's bit us in the rear end. I don't know how many more high-profile big moments that you can falter in, but you have faltered in some of them. Last thing, the thing that you can't do, woosah. Remember what was the movie? What's the movie I'm thinking about, guys? Bad Boys 2. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you, head ass? Woosah. Remember your pressure points. Calm yourself. There is something that to be said about aggressive or silent tenacity. You know, like I think that Paul Skeens is a silent assassin. You're not going to see the emotion on his face. You know who was for you last year in and of his own right was Jaden Daniels. Oh, there goes Blake again saying Jaden Daniels. Well, then leave the fucking show. But you get what I'm trying to say here. Don't let the movement get too big for you. All right. Here are the 4 things that you must do to win. These are non-negotiables for me. Non-negotiables for me. Guys, you got to come out. The number one thing that you must do in this game is you must come out guns blazing. Pedal to the metal, foot all the way to the floor, guns blazing. Because if what I think that South Carolina is going to do is what they actually do and they stack the box like everybody else or these last 2 teams have done against you, throw that football, man. Throw that rock around. Back them off of you. I gave the example last week of what I wanted you to do. You know, last week I gave you in the do's and don'ts is that the number one thing that I said last week is that I wanted you to come out guns blazing. Because if you don't come out and start throwing some haymakers and you don't start throwing some early jabs, hitting a dude in the nose, hitting a dude in the jaw, throwing some hooks in there, you don't come in there with a good little left hook body shot. If you do not start coming out in these games and start piecing dudes up, teams will continue to stack the box on you so that you don't have the ability to run. Guys, this is the 3rd straight week that I've said this. The status of Chris Hilton is paramount. If Chris Hilton doesn't even have a catch, if Chris Hilton is on the field, the pressure that he puts on defenses on hitting those deep shots is of utter worldly difference because they can't put everybody up close to the line of scrimmage because if that dude runs a go route, he's going bye-bye, night-night, like he's in sync. Ain't no lie, baby, bye-bye-bye. He's gone. In like an instant, you won't catch him. Brian Kelly came out this week and said, and I quote, teams are stacking the box on us. All right. And basically this week, what I interpreted of BK telling Shane Beamer to some extent was, go ahead and stack the box on us this week, see what happens. All right. Well, until you come out starting uppercutting dudes in their jaw and lighting their shit up, they're going to stack the box on you. And guess what? If they throw a curveball at you to start the game and they got 5-6 dudes in the box, run the football. Guys, we make this game too complicated. Way, way too complicated. And it's not. If it were me, I'm coming out throwing that bitch 20 times in the first half, at minimum. At bare minimum. Look, I can really live with Garrett Nussmeier making a mistake. What I can't live with is you, to some extent, cutting his legs out from under him. And that's what, guys, I'm just going to tell you, that's what they're doing. Here's what I feel like they're doing. I feel like all offseason they heard, regardless if BK ever will admit this or not, but that offensive staff heard everybody saying that Garrett's got to calm down, and they clipped his wings. It's not what we said. And you know that's not what we said. What we meant was that he cannot force things into triple coverage. Nobody came out here and said, especially me, no one came out here and said that he should be not throwing the ball deep. But you know why teams also are stacking the box on you? It's because you're not throwing the ball down the field enough. Until you hit a go route, until they respect you, guys, they're going to continue to do it. That was number one. All right. Here's the key to the game for me on the thing that LSU must do the most if they're going to win. This is the biggest non-negotiable I've had so far this season. Number two of the biggest do's. Make Lenore Sellers beat you by throwing the football. You know, Lenore Sellers last week went 11-15, 159 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns and a pick. Every completion in the second half that he had outside of one, a hitch route on the far right sideline, every one of them was a busted coverage. Let me say that again. Every single throw outside of one in the second half that Lenore Sellers had was a busted coverage. The touchdown that he threw, even the touchdown that he had on his opening drive, was a busted coverage by Kentucky. But here's another thing that I can live with. I can live with Lenore Sellers throwing for 350 on you and throwing 4 touchdowns. What you cannot allow South Carolina's quarterback to do on you is, and this offense in general to do to you, is line up and run it right down your throat, and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. You cannot allow that to happen. So when I look at a guy like Lenore Sellers, if he comes out on Saturday evening after the game at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time and his stat line is 21 of 31 for 320 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they win, I'm going to live with it. Let me give an example of something, and this is the game that I always try to reference. And I think that we can learn from past experiences, even if it's not LSU. Guys, remember in the Iron Bowl, the year that Cam Newton was at Auburn? What did Nick do? Nick said, listen, I am not going to lose to Auburn having Cam Newton run all over me. I'm going to stack the box. I am going to blitz. I am going to send the heat all night long, which is actually our number 4 here, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment. But I'm going to make Cam Newton beat me by throwing the football. And you know what? He did, and that's fine. And I think Nick Saban can live with that. I pretty much feel like I know, and all of us know, that he could live with Cam Newton beating him with below 2 average wide receiver play and tight end play. That, hey, man, you know what? The dude beat us through the air. It is what it is. He's the best player in the country, and we will do that. Why do I give that example? And it's ironic that Brian Kelly gave the comparison of Lenore Sellers to Anthony Richardson. You know what you did on Anthony Richardson? Because you crowded the box on him. You crowded the box on him and made him throw the football. It's why you won, ultimately. He hit a big pass on Jared Bernard-Converse early, and other than that, he was Dookie Water throwing the football. You gotta recreate that. It's a must. You must recreate that. So number 2 of the things you must do, make Lenore Sellers beat you by throwing the football. I will remind people, I thought that the stat line is very deceiving for him against Kentucky. He went 11 for 15. Tons of busted coverages by Kentucky led to that. But against Old Dominion, he was 10 of 23 for 144 yards. He did run the ball 22 times in that game. All right, number 3. Guys, if you throw the football around, they're going – so it's interesting. I went back and watched the LSU USC game today. I know, psychopath. In the second half, USC started lightening it up their box a little bit, and that's why John Emery was able to run the football as effectively as he did. And I think that when you come out guns blazing, if you come out guns blazing, Shane Beamer and this defensive staff is going to back off. And when they do, you got to attack by breaking their will. Guys, this defensive line is really good. And you got to make them run sideline to sideline. You got to make their pass rush be ineffective so that they get tired. And when it's time, you got to put them away by beating them up in the running game because they're going to back out. And if they don't, put up 60 on them. Throw it all over the place. I have a very sneaky suspicion that once you throw the ball on them enough and effectively enough, if you throw the ball effectively enough on them, because God forbid Gary goes into his first true road environment and takes an outright dunk. Look, man, you got to be able to scheme within the game. The best offense and defensive coordinators are the best at scheming in game, knowing what the other guy's going to do and playing chess, not checkers. Sloan's going to have to figure out how to play chess because he's been too predictable. All right, last but not least, send ungodly amount of pressure on Lenore Sellers. Guys, in the second half, Lenore Sellers fumbled the football twice. One of them was on a corner blitz that he didn't see coming, and he stared down a receiver and got absolutely mollywopped like what I do during the hurricane to a zebra cake. I don't think Lenore Sellers, like most young quarterbacks, either running quarterbacks or pocket quarterbacks, even what we've seen from Garrett to some extent. I think Garrett's made some great checks at the line of scrimmage. I think he's made some very costly ones. That's neither here nor there. But I look at Lenore Sellers, and I don't ever think that he knows where the pressure's coming from. I think Blake Baker's got to scheme up some goofy-ass shit on him to confuse the Rudy Poo out of him. I would send the heat all night. I would send the heat all night on him. Make him uncomfortable. Guys, if you stop Lenore Sellers, you're going to win the football game. Unless Rocket Sanders, who came over from Arkansas, goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs like he's the damn bird that's on the box, I can still live with that. I think that he's the key to everything in this. He's the key to the game for both sides, really. For both sides. Send ungodly amount of pressure. He did not. Let me say this. Go back and watch the Kentucky game after the show if you want to. Here's what I think. I think Lenore Sellers got absolutely flustered in key and critical moments. There was one time, the time that he fumbled, he learned from his mistake. The second time, Kentucky tried to run the same corner blitz out of the slot. Sellers does not pick it up again, but at the last second, he looks down at him, breaks a tackle, scramble drill, makes an explosive play, and you got to limit him on those. And here's the thing, man. The kid's he's a big kid, 6'3", 245. You got to get him to the ground. Everybody's got to rally. Man, I hate in games like this. A massive pet peeve of mine when defensive coordinators and head coaches do not allow a DC's or just the DC doesn't in general be highly aggressive. You got to be aggressive. Be aggressive if you're going to be the victorious team in this game. So running back through them here again before we end this segment. Get off the field on third down. Stop bunching up in the running game. Don't shy away from running at Dylan Stewart. Don't let the moment get too big for you. For the dudes, come out guns blazing with your hair on fire. Make Lenore Sellers beat you through the air. When they back out of coverage, bust their ass up like your name is Buster Rhymes and send ungodly amount of pressure. If you do that, You're going to win the football game. Easier said than done. All right. We can get to a couple of these. I want to get around your SEC. So Brandon says, I want to see McKinley play this weekend. You're probably not going to. If you were going to see McKinley play, it would have been last week. Nola P says Whit Weeks could handle it. Dude should a player maybe play more last year. What? Yeah. Darklines says, who do you think should get the majority steal snaps? What do you mean by steal snaps? Daniel Bentley says, put Perk on the edge. See, here it comes again, man. Guys, so Daniel, I don't mean this in a wrong way towards you. I really do not. He's not built for all 3 downs on the edge. I can't make that more clear. You can have that opinion and think that I'm wrong. Guys, you cannot put him there on every play. He will get busted up. He's not heavy enough. He ain't got enough ass behind him. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the star role if you're going to do something unique with him. The problem is, man, the running game is an issue. And I cannot – guys, I used to come out here in 2022. I came out here in 2023, and literally we would show you still shots of what happened. Guys, go watch Bama last year when they had moments when they put him on the edge and they ran right at him. He's not built for that one-on-one. You got to get Perk in space. Perk was an electric as a freshman because he would come in on passing downs. And when he was on the field outside of that, what did he do? He would spy guys against Arkansas, he would spy guys against Alabama and go after. Be a ball player. Don't think, go play. Guys, y'all saying put him on the edge. Look, I want to say it like this. I'm not going to say that you don't know what you're talking about, but you're going to have to explain to me running the football. I don't mind him being out there on 3rd and 8. I don't mind that. Do it. If it's 3rd and 8 and they run right at you, and then tip of the cap to them. They adjusted. They did something that you didn't think you were going to do, and good on them. But the bottom line is, man, you cannot have him out there against a tackle. Not one-on-one. It's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. I'm going to leave. Let me just say this one final time, because we're going to continue to have this conversation all season. I can already feel it. When y'all say he's Von Miller, when you say he's Micah Parsons, whatever his name is, those guys are 250 pounds, man. If Perk was 250 pounds, I'd say, yeah, put him on the edge. He ain't got that ass behind him. Pause, but he doesn't. And if you wanted him to get there like a Dylan Stewart, guys, Dylan Stewart is the most explosive freshman in the country. He's 250 pounds. Guys, I've been in thousands of meetings with offensive linemen. And if we saw a guy at 225 pounds, especially in college, that was lined up on the edge, we would run the ball right at him. Air raid or not. Air raid or not. So, yeah. David says, I'm just asking because we always had more than one dude that can do that. Do what, David? Do what? He says, so do we have another dude, Hilton, that can stretch the field vertically? We do, but they're freshmen. And they apparently don't trust any of those guys enough. I think you could put Aaron Anderson out there and see what happens. So, yeah. All right, let me do this. I got to get to a quick break. We'll go around your SEC to wrap it up. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Big week in the SEC this week. Let's run through some of these games before we get out of here. Boston College goes down to Como this weekend, in which nobody in their right mind thought that in week 3 that this would be a top 25 matchup, yet here we are after Boston College upset Florida State. I know LSU fans are going to push back on this, but hear me out for just a moment. But Missouri's defense the last 2 weeks, I know that they've played Dookie Water State and Rudy Poo Tech. Guys, they've given up 0 points the last 2 weeks. And they're the number 1 total defense in the country. Now they have Bill O'Brien and company coming into town. I don't think that they're going to blank them. But here's what I would say about Missouri, what we've seen so far this season. You know what they've been? Focused, determined, locked in, aggressive. They've been on a one-track mission on what they want to accomplish. Guys, you couldn't shut out Nichols last week. And it's not as if that Missouri has been sending the house and being ultra aggressive on defense. They've been pretty conservative. Guys, I don't care what team you play in this sport. When you hold 2 teams scoreless, it's a massive accomplishment. I'm going to take Missouri in this one. I think that they're ready to explode. That's what she said. I think that, look, their offense has been kind of tame. They've run the ball with Noel. They've run the ball with Marcus Carroll. Brady Cook's got 3 rushing touchdowns. Their defense has been good. They've gotten Luther Burden the football. I think Missouri is going to be one of those teams that, once again, I think late in the season we're going to be talking about as well. Castellanos, the quarterback at Boston College, is pretty good, can scramble. He can make this game interesting. I just think when it's all said and done that Missouri is not going to be – Missouri is going to knock off Boston College. Bama goes up to Wisconsin. Look, I'm going to say this. You won't like this either. I thought the last 20 minutes of the game last week with Bama versus South Florida, in those last 20 minutes when Bama scored 28 points, I thought that they looked like one of the best teams in the country, especially on offense. I know that it's USF. But I think they're starting to figure some things out. Tyler Van Dyke, if you remember, who was the Miami quarterback, is now at Wisconsin. He's looked pretty below or if average the last 2 weeks, and they've played nobodies. I think Bama could go up to Camp Randall and really roll Wisconsin. That's going to be an interesting first true test for Kalen DeBoer on the road. It's going to be an interesting one. This next one, Florida and Texas A&M, I have no idea. If you're a betting person, I would advise you don't go anywhere close to it. I have no feel. The only thing that I'm interested to see is Texas A&M ran the football for over 200 yards last week against McNeese State. McNeese is not a good football team. Connor Weigman looked all right. Billy Napier announced that DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz are both going to play against Texas A&M. I have no real feel on who wins that game. None at all. None at all. Yeah, Pooh Bear says Byrne only got 6-7 yards on the season. He does. He also has got a rushing touchdown too, I think. They have run the football, meaning Missouri. They've run the football all year. They have done nothing special. I think you're going to see them open it up against Boston College. Georgia versus Kentucky, I think that's an outright splattering. Ole Miss versus Wake. First true opponent, first P4 opponent that Ole Miss faces. It's going to be interesting to see what they look like. Let's just see what they look like. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll start making some determinations off of them or on them. An Oklahoma versus Tulane, which, look, man, both teams had hard-fought battles last week. Tulane came up short against Kansas State. And Oklahoma could barely beat Houston. In year one of Willie Fritz, I might add. I would take Oklahoma in this game. But I think that their offense is pretty putrid. Jackson Arnold has no time to throw the football, and they can't run it. If Tulane plays like they did last week against Kansas State, which who knows, I think that Oklahoma could be on upset alert. All right, we'll see y'all again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Be here, 9 a.m. See you then. Y'all have a good night. Peace.